Hey everybody, it's Tara Green here. Good morning. I want to wish you a happy full moon in Sagittarius. Now that's my sign. I'm a double Sag. I was born on a new moon in Sag, so I'm pretty much the expert on Sagittarius stuff. Now, full moons sometimes make us feel really awake and they sometimes make us feel really exhausted, right? So really, this is the last full moon with, the first full moon with Jupiter in Cancer. So Jupiter just entered Cancer 2 days ago. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so this one should feel really different for people who are Sagittarius. So you're going to get the first effects, the first feels, and that's really a Cancerian thing, the feels of what it feels like to have Jupiter in Gemini, where it was weak opposite Sagittarius. Now it's considered to be exalted in Sagittarius, so we're going to feel a much stronger pull of our emotions, of the waters, of the tides, with Jupiter, the most expansive planet in Sagittarius. So it's a pretty complicated energy. Venus square Pluto is still in effect. That happened actually on the 9th, but it's going to be in effect till July the 4th, till Venus makes her next major aspect, and that is a conjunction to Uranus at the very last degree. The very last degree of Taurus on July the 4th. So happy U.S. birthday. That should be interesting, but I'll talk about that later. So that tension between values, money, love, stubbornness, everything that Venus ruling Taurus is all about, it's going Pluto. It's all about the plutocrats and big power struggles and, digital IDs and freedom and protests, and you can see all that going on in the world. Mars is still trining Chiron. That's still in effect as well. So the trine is a positive aspect between planets. Mars in Leo is very heartfelt. He's the heart warrior. Trining Chiron in Aries, it can be good for you to let down some of your walls and your defenses. So the moon opposed the sun. That's the full moon at 3:44 a.m. That was Eastern Daylight Time earlier today. The moon trines Chiron. So again, this is a beneficial, positive, truth-telling time. A moon in Sagittarius is time to tell the truth like no other. Be honest, transparent, put your foot in your mouth. It's called hoof and mouth disease. I know all about that one. Because eventually it's to help heal the pain and the defenses. Mercury sextiles Venus. Mercury in Cancer sextiling Venus. That's a nice one to be able to talk from your emotions in a very clear way and connect. Sextiles are nice, easy aspects. Connect to love, connect to what means the most for you. Venus and Taurus, she rules Taurus. So Venus in her home place, Jupiter in an exalted place, these are all good things. And then the moon trines Mars in Leo. That's at 3:58 p.m. This is Eastern Daylight Time. Again, you should have a boost of energy. Do what's in your heart, express your heart. Mars in Leo wants to party, wants to have fun, wants to upstage people. And then the moon in conjuncts Uranus and Taurus, so that's late 7:27 p.m. with Uranus at almost the last degree of Taurus. So it's an in conjunct is a disconnect kind of, or a blind spot between your inspirations, your aspirations. The moon in Taurus is very optimistic, very positive, good humored, wants to travel. It's all about higher education, universities, international affairs. Again, honesty, judges, justice, all of these prime issues going on, investigations. Uranus and Taurus is about crypto, basically AI, high tech. So, the honesty or the dishonesty going on, in those worlds. Now, then the moon enters Capricorn. Now, the effects of a full moon last usually a couple of days. So the moon then enters Capricorn. We're going to feel things are much more earthy and grounded and practical and responsible at 9:55 p.m. So for the next 2.5 days with the moon in Capricorn, you're much more grounded, okay? Which can be a good thing. So we've been in the fiery energy. You can feel the birds flying around here for the last 2.5 days. And now we're into Earth. And this happens every month. The moon travels through every sign of the zodiac every month. So the moon opposes Jupiter 10:54 p.m. tonight, again, Eastern Daylight Time. So again, Jupiter in Cancer. So the moon opposing Jupiter, again, gives you a chance to balance things out. It will be a very, very emotional year ahead. Again, for all Sagittarians and for Pisces, Jupiter is your ruling planet, and for Cancers most especially. You're going to be feeling very emotional, very sentimental. It's all about comfort food, emotional necessity. What makes me feel safe? A lot of inner child work, a lot of healing between families, mothers, children, especially when Saturn goes back into Pisces. A lot of forgiveness. There's been a big kind of energy because people are just discovering, how toxic things were. But it is part of the human condition. It is how we learn. It's our challenge to, what we're going to do with the difficulties that were presented. We used to have a book called Nobody Ever Promised You a Rose Garden, and we were raised with that kind of energy, which is true. Life is difficult. It's hard. It has challenges. That's how we grow. That's what our soul signed up for. And nobody's going to be perfect. So it is kind of, if you think your parents let you down or whatever, they're not perfect. You're not perfect either. My mother used to say to me, wait till you have your own children. And a lot of this new generation doesn't even want to go there. Doesn't even want to have children because they don't want to face the fact that they might not measure up. And, all you can do is do better. Forgiveness, compassion. People will want to come together. They will want to support each other. Blood is thicker than water. Again, women's rights, children's rights, food, home, all of those issues are being talked about. Refugees, immigrants. Sagittarius is about immigrants. So like all the LA riots going on right now, that's very much a Sagittarian thing coming to a head. So I believe I follow the news on X actually. They said that, in the States they have, had curfews because it's much too dangerous. It's gotten way out of hand with those protests. And again, protests are a hallmark of Aquarian energy that's going to go on for the next 20 years in general with Pluto and Aquarius. So at this full moon, it would be good for you to work with the element of fire because Sagittarius is fire. Take an inventory. It's a completion stage. How far you've come since the last full moon in Sag, there's one every year. What your goals are, what your aspirations are. Sagittarius is an aspirational sign. The archer is aiming higher, aiming actually at the same angle as the galactic center to the Earth. So expansion, Sagittarius works well with air signs, fire and air, they work well together. So while Pluto's in Aquarius, Sagittarius and Aquarius are kind of helping each other out. So traveling, do you want to travel? Do you want to go on some kind of a vision quest, a healing spiritual journey, a way of unearthing what your soul purpose is right now? Again, I have to emphasize 2025 and 2026 are unprecedented years. A year where 5 planets change sign in that one year has never happened in 2,500 years. I don't think people really get this. To me, that is so phenomenal. So Pluto entering Aquarius to stay, Saturn entering Aries, Neptune entering Aries. I'm not doing it in the right order. Jupiter entering Cancer, and then Uranus still to enter Gemini on July the 9th. That is 5 planets changing sign. That is rapid change. That is radical change. So you got to remember, we have to adjust. You were being thrown into this brave new world. And then by the end of the year, by September the 1st, Saturn will move back, Neptune will move back, Uranus will move back, Jupiter's going to stay in Cancer for a whole year. And then 2026, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus all move into new signs to stay. So again, this is really the big switch up year. So be gentle with yourself. Sagittarius, again, optimism, humor, bring back humor, all kinds of humor. If you're offended, you're taking yourself too seriously. Don't take this whole drama that seriously. Laugh at yourself. Remember that. And stay optimistic and set your sights higher. And if you want to get in touch with me for a personal reading, I'm at tarottarot.com. Sending you many blessings of the day and the full moon.